Yeah. So welcome all to this session with this discussion on the film 13. The film was suggested to us by Dr. Manju Edachira. Manju is a postdoctoral fellow at the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Delhi. She was a Kerala State Chalachitra Academy Fellow between 2020 and 2021. She taught as guest faculty at the Center for English Language Studies, University of Hyderabad between 2019 and 21. She largely works on film and cultural studies with a particular focus on caste and contemporary Indian cinema. She's a former Erasmus visiting PhD fellow 2016 at the Film Studies Division, Freie University, Berlin, Germany. Welcome, Manju. Really very happy to have you on the TFO forum, a young scholar whom I've seen probably for the past 7-8 years or so. Very, very happy to have you on TFO, Manju, and over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Nikhila. So, yeah, first of all, thanks to TFO and Professor Nikhila for this opportunity to discuss a film in this platform. So I know ma'am for like Nikhila ma'am for a long time. So we know each other and she knows my work, and then I'm very glad to present on this particular film. So yeah, it's called 13th. It's a documentary film, and so I worked for my PhD a little bit on this film, but not necessarily fully, but a little bit because it was very aesthetically appealing. So I've looked at it in a part in my dissertation. So it's sort of like revisiting the film 13. So it is just 100 minutes. So I hope whoever here must have watched it. So I have a PPT. So I'll share it. Can you please enable this screen sharing?
I have just enabled.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So the film is titled 13. It was released in 2016 and it's directed by Avaduvarne. So yeah, I'll just give a little bit on the as an introduction. I'll talk a little bit on the film. So it is basically on the title itself is 13. The 13 suggests the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which actually abolished slavery in the states, and but there is a little exception, which is that if you are incarcerated or if you are a criminal, you can be treated under this thing. You are a slave. So that is something. There is a short exception and a small exception, which kind of changes the whole idea of slavery from the old slavery to new one, which the film talks about, incarceration, which is the relationship between race and mass incarceration. And the documentary is a sort of it kind of shows how the state oppression is there in the US, and how there were resistance movements and how it is going on. It's sort of like a history, tracing the history that is past and present, and it came out in 2016. It was a time when Trump was supposed to come into power. That it was that the election time. So there is also like what's going to happen in the next whatever years, upcoming years. So that is something which the kind of context of the documentary. And yeah, so it is just 100 minutes, but in 100 minutes we get to see a lot of history, especially history of slavery in the US, and how this mass incarceration kind of started after this 13th Amendment during the Civil War movement, and how the whole system kind of criminalized Black leadership. So it is all like we can see it in this whatever 100 minutes. It's there like fully. I mean, it starts from the earlier times to the present day, whatever it was in. It came out in 2016. So so another thing, it's very interesting thing is it's a Netflix production, and so it just came after Avaduvarne's another like kind of debut film in a sense, because she has also made another short films and documentary films, but her popular film is Selma. So this 13th was kind of popularized as a film by the director of Selma, because Selma as a film also got Academy Award. So it is a Netflix production, and it is circulated in more than I think 180 190 countries. That's what she talks in an interview. So it kind of got a reach which was something beyond expectation. So that is one of the interesting things maybe we can later look at. And yeah, it is a documentary film, but then it is not necessarily a documentary in a conventional sense, because it documents, but it's not that there are a lot of things which are not. For instance, there is like one thing is there is no narrator, but then everybody, a lot of people come on the screen, and they all tell their stories. So it's kind of a method of storytelling. So the whole documentary comes across as a different voices coming to the screen. For instance, there are people from academics, lawyers, politicians, the already like incarcerated activists who incarcerated people who came out, and then they fought for the civil rights, and people who worked with different like media houses. So uh, the whole documentary has a lot of voices. So bringing them together on the screen is one thing which Duvernay did it very well, because it's a way. It's not necessarily you see all kinds of people on the screen. You see blacks, Latinos, and whites, all of them talking about this of this mass incarceration. So it is in a sense that there is a method of storytelling and bringing together of different voices. So that is one significant thing about this documentary. And so yeah, another thing which so the after starting, like if you have seen the film, immediately the film, like it starts off with the data, and then quickly goes on to discuss the film The Birth of a Nation, which is considered as one of the classics of the whole like world cinema, because it kind of experimented with all the aesthetic and the formal aspects of film at that point of time in 1915. So it is directed by G.W. Griffith, and like it's also part of it in some of the even film studies discussions and film discussions in the discipline as well. So one thing which she does is she just brings this film within the documentary, which is 13th, as a film within a film. And this film is the kind of a subtext of the documentary. It just runs through the whole documentary. So yeah, I'll just talk a little bit about The Birth of a Nation. So it is a film on, it's a film which actually came out in 1915, and it kind of stereotyped the image of black men as barbaric, cannibalistic, and kind of celebrated the white supremacist group in the US called Ku Klux Klan. So it is and also the how the black man, the image of a black man as a threat to the white woman. So that is something that film actually, that's the crux of the film. This was the film which uh, uh, kind of etched the image of the black men in the psyche of people there. So it is in a sense that the representation, how it kind of impacted both the real, because it kind of continues in later representations, and also in the real, because it's in a sense that kind of created an image of black men as always a threat to white women, and as barbaric or aggressive, so abusive, all this like stereotypes. So the what this film does, as in a sense, that what Duvernay through 13 does is that she kind of deconstructed the whole film through different people. They come and talk about what the film did, how the film created certain kind of an image. So that is something even the black filmmaking or the black cinema in the earlier period wanted to do, which is something to emancipate the images which were already constructed by the white cinema. So it is by the black director called Ben Caldwell. He actually spoke about why he makes cinema. It's largely to emancipate the image which is already created by the whites. So in a sense that this is also what she's also, Duvernay is also doing through this particular documentary, because she takes a film and that film is there as a kind of an intermedia, a media which comes within this particular film, which I will come to it a little, maybe like a little later. So this kind of film goes through, like from the beginning to the end, we can see how the film played a major role in stereotyping the image of black men, because the image is important here, because the like 40% of the population in the US prison
Yeah, a little bit. It's
are
okay.
black men. So this thing will come a little later. I mean,
Nice
the whole,
today also. Best those views from Uttarahalli, Sada. I wish
Can
we could.
can you please mute yourself? There's some other voice that is coming and I'm unable to mute over here. Yes, Manju, please go
okay,
on.
so the image of black men, which is constructed by The Birth of a Nation, which is very significant in the later part of the documentary, where in fact the major focus of the documentary, which is mass incarceration of blacks and Latinos in the largely blacks in the United States, but yeah, people of color and in a broader sense. So yeah, so this is another part which I thought the which makes the film very interesting, because the whole documentary is kind of plays with intermediality, in a sense that there is intermedia, in a sense that when one medium becomes a part of another, like another media, in a sense, like you see different kinds of media in this film, in a sense that it kind of also traces the development of media technology in uh, uh, in the US, in a sense. So we can actually kind of see different kinds of media, such as newspapers, and written documents like autobiographies, slave narratives, television shows, documentaries, audio clips, video clips, CCTV footages, news programs, songs, and even films. So you when you see a different kinds of media which kind of come in throughout the documentary, because it's merged so well. One thing that's uh, very significant in this documentary is also the editing part, the way they have edited the film in a sense that, like, mixing of all this media together, and also different kinds of voices coming throughout. And this is something which is very interesting, and it's an it's an emancipatory use of media in a sense, in a broader sense, because it's like from slave narratives to like the recent mobile photography or videography. It kind of covers the whole uh, uh, the development of media technology. So in a sense that the documentary can be seen as an oppressed community's engagement with archives, aesthetics, and media technology. So if you have seen the credits of the film, she gives like towards the end of the film, like you can see credits to a lot of archives and media labs and whatnot. So many I mean, it comes like the whole towards the end of the film. So it is, all these things are mixed, all these archives or minute details are taken and in a sense analyzed in this film, and also for us to also for the to the spectators to also interpret. So it is one of the significant aspects of the film. And another thing which what I try to also look at is the how the way it is the documentary is it is a kind of an effective archiving of Black lives. So in a sense that how it is in a sense that how it kind of captures the feelings and emotions of a community, and in a sense that an archive of feelings, which is what it's a concept by Chekovic. So it kind of carries a lot of emotions and feelings on a particular issue which was not much discussed, or which is as actually a part of the state system, which is not uh, which is not discussed, or which is not brought into the public. So in a sense it kind of brings a lot of like you can see in a sense both ways, like a lot of violence, trauma, and also at the same time there is also resistance, and the way they deal with the Black community, how they deal with the system. And yeah, in a sense that is something which is very interesting about the film, just like it's an archive of feelings. But it is also like through how does it become an archive, it's also through the exploration of archival materials. And in a sense it also builds an archive. So if you just go through it, you also get to see the whole development of the media, the development of the whole African American movement in the US, like from civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., uh, Malcolm X, Angela Davis. So you can see like the way how all their speeches, their how they were treated by the system, and how they actually resisted the system. All these things come in this one documentary. In within 100 minutes, you get to see a lot of things. But then it is also not necessarily like it's not just information, but it's also it's more of an archive of feelings, and also an effective archiving of Black lives, which was kind of not uh, not brought into the mainstream, or it was not discussed by the white media in another sense. Yeah, so so I was actually talking about how this documentary is not a documentary in a conventional sense. So one major thing, or one major difference we can easily find is the use of music and also the use of sound throughout the documentary. So it becomes very powerful with the use of music, because in a sense that the music is used to talk back to the oppressive system. So it's through various forms, whatever, through rap, through jazz, through blues and whatnot, like so many forms. It's not like they also have taken earlier songs, and also there is also background score for this particular documentary. So it is, in a sense, it actually brings back all the musical tradition to the public. So it brings in another way the embodied sensibilities through music, like the performance and but it also mixes with the media technology, in a sense that graphics and other things, which I would talk about it a little later. So yeah, in a sense, it's more the performative resistance, the performance as a form of resistance is brought uh, into it. And also, yeah, it kind of talks about like how it makes it more participatory, in a sense that uh, it kind of connects throughout, like music kind of works as a connecting force, because it's more easy for anybody or any oppressive community to engage with it. For instance, so she Duane, in her one of the interviews, said that she received a lot of uh, uh, responses from people from different countries on how this also happens in their country, but with different groups. So, for instance, even in the case of India, if we take the data, it is largely largely Dalits and Muslims are the major. I mean, then if you take the number, they are more in number in prison. So the same way it happens in different parts of the world. So she actually received a lot of response from people from across the world on this. So it is, in a sense, that it is kind of this music is something which is also in a sense, it actually talks back to the whole system of mass incarceration in this documentary, like how it's on like incarceration, it's on their experience, it's on how the system is repressive. All these things come in the music, in music, in all the songs. And so it's in a sense that it is a form of expression and also a form of resistance. So both combine together, because not like all the songs are, in a sense that it is resistance songs, but sometimes it brings their what happens in their lives, or the last song, which is Letter to the Free, which actually brings in a lot of different aspects, or kind of traces the whole this Black Lives Matter, the story of their stories, and their and the way that their daily everyday lives, everything comes in that song. So that is so the one of the main reasons why I said before that it makes a documentary more than a documentary in its traditional sense, because you just feel like very moved, not necessarily, not only through the visuals, which of course are very powerful, but the music is something which kind of like, even if you do not watch, there are certain like songs which are more powerful. Like, so in a sense that this is in a combination of both visuals and sound, to for a to talk against this mass incarceration in the United States. And so yeah. So another point which I thought I would just I would talk about is the visualities of violence, resistance, and hope. So there is a kind of trajectory which we can also see, is that it kind of starts with like, as I was telling about this 1915, this birth of a nation moment, and then what happened. So it is in a sense an investigative documentary, because before excuse me, before the starting of this documentary, there were so many things. Even the director didn't know, which one of the examples is ALEC. So ALEC is a corporate body which actually decides the law, what the law should be in the US. So in a sense that it brought in so many things in through this uh, through their investigation, and in a sense that it is also an investigative documentary. So uh, so which if we just look at there is this is on incarceration, imprisonment. So the whole idea of confinement, we can actually also get it through the documentary, through different ways. For instance, if we look at the film was done in very at least during that time, like that's what is that's what came out in some of the interviews, which was that it was produced in secrecy. So so in a sense that they didn't also want this to be very public. So most of the shots, if we look closely, are taken inside, except that like some of the shots were where they actually used the earlier tapes, uh, or some of the prison, like outside the perimeter. Like it's also like not necessarily even a free space. So in a sense that it is largely that confined spaces which comes in the shots. So so that is also one of the interesting aspects, which is like the confined space kind of comes along through the use of camera. And so yeah, she has used two cameras. If you see, like uh, most of the shots where there is a front camera and also a side camera. So it just, the shots kind of comes together, like sometimes together, interchangeably it comes and goes. So also a lot of close-up shots, uh, especially when they talk very also affectionately about certain things, or there is in a sense like a lot of this personal narratives. When it becomes intense, you can see the use of close-up shots a lot in the documentary. So, and another one is the use of aerial shots, which is largely to show the prison complexes. So in a sense that it kind of shows the whole that confined space through all these camera techniques as well. Like you can see the whole prison complex, because it's a private prison system in the US, and how these prison complexes work, and how they were also part of this ALEC corporation, and how they had how they have influenced the lawmaking, and how this also like a lot of also yeah a lot of definitive laws which they discuss in this, like for instance, stand your ground, or the federal bill, which crime bill, which came out during both Reagan's and Nixon's time. So all this, the whole discussion is like kind of brings together the history of mass incarceration in the US. So while it goes on, we can also see like the number kind of what happens in the Reagan era and how it kind of increases later. So the whole data keeps popping in at like certain intervals. So yeah. And another thing is the development of Black resistance movement in the US. So there is one side which kind of talks about a lot of violence, violence on the I mean, not necessarily on this adult men, also on young adolescent kids. So it is something which, like, how they were shot and shot dead, and even those videotapes were produced with the consent of the family. You can see that it kind of brings in like the image, the trauma which the family and the community went through. So from there's a shift which she kind of tries to bring in, is the resistance movement in the US, which is like through civil rights movement or Black Panther. So, and all this Black Lives Matter. So all this kind of react or talk back to whatever happened to the whatever happened in the form of violence or brutalities. So it is, yeah, that in a sense that it kind of captures both the past and which present, and also what's going to come in the future, because most of the places they also show what is going to come, in a sense that it was during the election time when Trump and Hillary Clinton were competing against each other. So that time, so there were the documentary kind of used a lot of video clips by them, and how Trump was also inciting this racial violence on the blacks. So it is in a sense that it kind of predicted what's going to come. So it's like again, the movement, it's from the past to the even what can happen in the future. And so once, like, there is violence, there is resistance, and the last one is hope. So the film does not end with it does not end with just resistance. It ends with hope, or more of affectionate images of Black lives. Like, can see them playing basketball, dancing, or just sitting in their backyards. So images of kids. So it is, and with the song Letter to the Free. So it ends on a hopeful note, in a sense that to what the system has done is criminalization of Blacks, but what the documentary is doing is to humanize the system, or humanize even the oppressor, like who was trying to oppress them. So in a sense, it's also talking to the other, or the documentary is more of a dialogic in that sense. So so yeah, I would talk about it a little bit in the last slide. So this is yeah, before going there, I think I'll also talk about a little bit on how the documentary played with the empirical and the aesthetic, the combination of both the empirical and the aesthetic, in a sense that there's a lot of statistical data which comes along the whole documentary. And so it kind of made use of the digital technology in a sense that it like technology for emancipation. It's like starts with the demography of prison population in the US, and then how it changes, how many of them are black men, and like there is a shocking statistics which they tell us 1 in 3 in the prison are black men, whereas 1 in 17 is a white man. So that is something which kind of comes in black and white and all the images, and a lot of graphics. You can just see it kind of pops in, pops out at different intervals. So it is like in a sense that it kind of used uh, the power of the technology, like power of the media technology to fight against state oppression. So you can see the change in colors, like it comes like black and white sometimes, and like capital letters to tell certain things. It just also the font size increases, reduces. It just tried like the documentary kind of tried all the small things, but which actually creates a visual effect, like zooming in, zooming out of like the word, certain words like imprisonment or freedom. It comes and goes. So it all these things we can actually see how graphics is used in this documentary, and also the use of national flag. Also, like she played with the all that stripes which we can see in the US flag, and also how it kind of strips off the civil rights in a sense. So you can see like how the prison population in that stripes, and then how it is largely black, and then like it largely talks about this stripping of civil rights. So in a sense that it connects to this larger like idea of the nation, and what the nation does to the blacks. So it is that is something which is very powerful. It's not like there is no the documentary is not, there is no denigration of anything, but then that actually brings out or what is the system doing to the blacks, or what or in a sense that how the system is treating its own citizens. So they kind of, once you are imprisoned, you are without any rights, like so many laws which they discuss in this documentary, which kind of proves that. So it is, in a sense, it's also visually shown in this through the use of the strips and everything. And yeah, so the last part is like it's a combination of visual, sound, and also there is haptics, in a sense that it's also the sense of touch, but not like you can see a lot of videos like how people are received, or like so many like for instance when Angela Davis comes back, the way people talk about it, it's a victory against the state, how the system wanted to imprison her, and how she just fought back and came as a queen, as a fighter. So they actually talk about it in the whole documentary. It's like more of a very touching moment for the community. So there are moments where like which the documentary capture very beautifully throughout. And yeah, so this I'll conclude with this particular slide. So it's to open up so larger questions on media technology, and for the use of like media technology for emancipation, and in a sense that what the documentary is trying to do as kind of building solidarity. There's a coming together, which is what the documentary is trying to do. I mean, not necessarily by blacks, but also all the communities like who fight against the state oppression. And you can just see how, so these most of these interviews were taken separately. With like the director herself did the interviews, and most of the interviews were 2 hours length, and she had to edit it to put it into this 100 minutes video, so which it's there in the Netflix interview with Oprah Winfrey. So in that she talks about how she had to just put it together. So in a sense, like if you just closely watch it, there are certain repeated vocabulary which kind of comes throughout. So how this is how the documentary is about, it's about like from criminalization to humanization, and it's on denied justice, it's on like fight for freedom, fight for equality. So all this all this elements come okay, in the documentary. Just a second, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So I just lost the PPT. So yeah. So in a in a sense, it is largely about reaching out to the other. It's more of a dialogic format, in a sense that it tries to talk to the oppressive system as well. It's not just it does not just confine within the Black community, but it talks to the other. It talks to the even the oppressor, in a sense. So there is the reaching out to the other, which we can see in this documentary, or in a sense there is a mixing of both the affective expressive and also the rational epistemological, in a sense that you can see like how this works as an archive, how it's a historical document, so which is not necessarily about the affective or the feelings part, but now also about the rational or the reason, how there's a mixing of both in this documentary. And because most of the documentaries are largely like you kind of, I mean, in a conventional sense, you largely just show what is there, and then not much of other creative aspects which I mean, in a conventional sense, but there are documentaries which especially in the recent past, which actually breaks all these things. But yeah, so so there is like it is largely about words possibilities, which is that's what the song Letter to the Free talks about. And I think I have one more where I'll just quickly sum up. In a sense, so what Duvarni is doing is that there is an experimentation with different forms and different platforms. For instance, Selma's 2014 feature film, whereas 13 is a 2016 Netflix documentary, and recently the one When They See Us, it's a mini drama series which is on a case on Black youth, and so there was a rape case on the Black youths and how they were incarcerated for a crime which they didn't commit. And it's after a long time when the original culprit came and confessed, the state actually had to pay back a lot of money to the people who were incarcerated, because their lives, which were like the young lives, in fact, they were all very, very young. So that also comes in this particular documentary, that how that case happened and how these kids were incarcerated. So she actually took this part and made a documentary, a drama series, in fact, When They See Us. So in that also she uses a lot of techniques to narrate the story. If you haven't seen it, perhaps you can give a try. And so you can see the whole the way she operates, the way the way operates is largely the techniques of emancipation, like through the visual media. And it also something which I've been arguing, which is there is the presence of the community or the presence of certain like anti-caste or anti-race directors in the field, in the film field, actually changes the way how representation is being imagined, or how representation as a how representation kind of changes, or how there are like very good examples even in the case of India. If we look at anti-caste films, the same way it can, in fact, US has a very strong black presence in the industry, so that kind of changes the way blacks are represented in cinema. So in a sense, it kind of opens up an aesthetics of possibilities, not necessarily like confining it to stereotypes or always the negative images. So it just opens up the aesthetics of possibilities. So that's what the film does. And yeah, so with this, I think I'll stop here. So if there is anything we can discuss in the later part. Yeah, I'll just stop.
Thank you very much, Manju. It was a really wonderful presentation. And first of all, thanks for suggesting the film. It was a really a very informative and very enriching kind of a film, which I think all of us really enjoyed watching, for the way in which it puts forth the issues. As you say, there is no controlling, narrating voiceover. It constructs the story through these varieties of sources that it marshals, and the sets of interviews through which the issues are illuminated. So thanks for the film and for suggesting the film, and also for this really elaborate discussion. I know it also touches upon quite a bit of the kind of work that you have been doing. The film and also Manju's presentation now is open for discussion. Anyone who wants to come in at this point. Please unmute yourself so I know that you want to come in. Just while people are kind of gathering their thoughts about the film, I was curious with the way in which you have looked at this film, this archive of emotions that you call it as. Also, this idea of the way you seem to suggest that this film, very rightly, that this film engages with or talks back to a film like Birth of a Nation, which has been canonized, as you say, in film studies, as probably one of the early examples of narrative cinema. I mean, in the history of cinema. I was also, while watching the film, another very interesting and remarkable aspect for me of the film was the way, the different respondents to the, issue were kind of highlighting different aspects. So as you said, this is a film that is really extremely well edited. So there are people, who are talking about a number of issues, but from very different perspectives, so that you don't feel that it is being repetitive, but the issue is getting illuminated from different, in different ways. Also, lawmakers who revisit their own, their own interventions probably in this debate many years ago. The reinterpretations that many of the actions of past, it could be past presidents or it could be other people. So this becomes an occasion, when you call it archive of memory and I mean archive of experience or emotion. This I feel is also a very productive exercise in kind of re-looking at I mean, when one is acting, one does not have the kind of perspective about the probably the consequences of one's action, but in hindsight how many of these things really get played out. So the documentary also becomes a kind of archive to look back, an archive that is revisited, even by the principal players, people who are part of this process, who look back and some of them stand by what they have done, many others re-evaluate what they have done. So in that sense, it's a very productively engaging kind of a documentary, I thought. And also the second aspect that you were mentioning, that the filmmakers, celebrity position after, I mean, or at least success after Selma allowed her to get on to Netflix and the OTT platform, and therefore, allow an issue like this to kind of get wider circulation. I think these were very interesting aspects for me. Thanks. I think someone has raised their hand. Jadu, is it? Jadu has raised their hand. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Manju. I must congratulate you. You are working on documentary 13. I have watched this documentary, and I'm not a student or scholar on cinema studies or interpreting on cinemas, but as a student of political science and working on theory, so I have my own interpretation on this two brilliant documentary, I would say. Only one probably a comment or suggestion, I don't know. uh, I have seen When They See Us. So you had only discussed just you mentioned about the documentary. My suggestion would be, why don't you talk this two documentary, When They See Us and 13, as part of your analysis to understand or your develop argument. So that would be a suggestion, because I could see the sequence of these two documentary. It is about, as you rightly pointed out, the mass incarceration of blacks. So also the question of immigration, and question of uh, as I see, the sea is a metaphor for blacks. So in both case, I mean, in the documentary 13 as well as When They See Us, so the black body, the physical embodiment of black body itself is a marker for the for director to capture the moment, right? So I'm working something, something called When They Know Us. You have gone through. I'm starting from this metaphor, When They See Us. So my suggestion would be, or or yeah, it could be a suggestion only. So it is better to discuss When They See Us as well, so that you create a proper background before you go to the documentary 13. So of course there are several issues to be discussed in this two documentary, uh, but you as a cinema scholar working on cinemas and film, uh, I think the issue that you are bringing about, how the representation, I mean, when people from color people, or in India, Dalits and others, when they are representing or making movies or film, it is altogether a different representation, right? So in that sense, director uh, is playing a great role. uh, and I think uh, uh, I was thinking about, in fact, when I saw this movie Jai Bhim, and I was really reminded about this two documentary, because this Jai Bhim documentary, it is about the criminalization of communities, right? The same thing happened in documentary 13 as well as in When They See Us. So think about it. This is what in my impression when I saw Jai Bhim and earlier this two. So this is just a kind of a comment or suggestion, whatever you take, whatever way you take. But it is great indeed. I enjoyed your presentation, Manju, and looking forward to read more on this.
Thank you very much. Manju, do you want to respond?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Jadu, for those comments. Yeah, I would also come back to your comments, Professor Nikhila, in a while. So yeah, Jadu is a friend, and he's an assistant professor at Jindal University, Delhi. He teaches political science. So yeah, we have actually discussed a little bit on When They See Us. So yeah, I actually take your suggestions, but then yeah, here this platform we largely discuss one particular film. So that's why I've chosen this one, 13th, because When They See Us is not a film, because it's a series, right? Like it has 4, or I think 4 episodes or something. So that is one of the reasons why I thought I would just hint it, because it's very recent. It's also kind of, I'm sure, like after 13 came in 2016, and a part of it which kind of came right now, which is in 2021. So that is one of the reasons why I didn't talk much about When They See Us, but it's a very powerful mini series. And yeah, when the idea of When They See Us, it's the see, or the sight, or which is, for instance, which they also discuss in 13th, like that's why the Birth of a Nation, which I actually focused on, because that's actually a silent film, I think. There's no dialogues, or so that it's through it is through the image, how the image is constructed, and the whole criminal image is constructed from then onwards. So that is something which is about seeing, or the first sight, when you see when you see blacks, the way as a white society, how they react, is something which the film is When They See Us, through that Duvernay is talking about. And yeah, there are a lot of interesting things about that drama series, which I think, yeah, I mean, maybe like we could discuss later on. But yeah, for others, it's something which she brings in also a lot of techniques to tell a story, to build a story on how the system played a big part in incarcerating this black youth. So yeah, so in that sense, it is the idea of physical embodiment is something which is uh, which she and Duvernay tried to show through that. And yeah, and coming to J Beam, which is actually a popular film in comparison to this two, which are documentary film and series. So yeah, it is also about the criminalization of a particular community. And like in this film, they talk about Irla community, which is a tribal community. And so yeah, so that is that I think it is slightly different, because it's a popular film. it also has like the whole together, altogether it's a different genre it is dealing with. So, and yeah, about your the question on representation and the people of color when they start making films, or no, my point is that I'm not telling like people of color or people from particular community, or if they make films it will be different. My point is basically about their presence makes a change in the industry, or in representation, because we cannot tell that somebody belonging to a black community should only make films on blacks, because what if I want to make a film on, or what if somebody wants to make a film on something like some fantasy, or something on entirely different, you don't want to talk about it, that is also fine. But the point which I'm trying to bring in is the presence is important. Like it's for instance, the American film industry has a huge black presence, which kind of changes the way even for instance the Oscar now has like you have to have a certain certainly you have to fulfill certain categories to even to be nominated for Academy Awards. So that kind of changes the whole way we perceive. So even representation, even the production, everything changes if people from marginalized communities especially are there in the production, or in different various level. It can be in like maybe in acting or screenwriting, it can be anything. So yeah, so that way it is something which is which I think it's more about like the presence makes a change, but it need not be that it can be only this or that. The point I am trying to make is that it makes a change in the way we perceive, or the way the representation is being is kind of even the discussed for a like longer period of time. So that is something which I thought I would just talk a little bit. But thanks for the suggestion. Of course, I would look both the documentary and this drama series together later. So yeah, thanks Jadu, and to Professor Nigila's comments, and thank you for those comments. Yeah, those 2 points were also some of the things which I was also interested, because that's why I said different voices in one sense, because it kind of responses together and they edited it, because there would be one side, the person who was it might be like somebody who's in power, who became the reason for particular law or particular something which was against the blacks, and then there is responses to that. So it is, in a sense, it's a dialogue, which is what the maybe the director wanted, but not in a sense that yeah, it is taken at different points and then edited together. And yeah, this idea of revisiting is something which is very interesting, because that's why the archives are taken and put together for a different purpose. So there's a reinterpretation or something, in a sense that you take these documents or these incidents which happened at like some point of time in history, and then try to look at it from an anti-race point of view. So that's what she has done throughout the documentary, and this idea of reinterpretation, or the archive which she is building is different from the archive which is already available. So it's not necessarily which is already there. That's why I try to look at it as something which is also, one is in a sense that it is archive of feelings, and also it becomes an archive, like it does both. It kind of explores archival material and it becomes a new archive, which is something like something different from which are already available. So yeah, these are the 2 things which I thought I would tell. Yeah.
Yeah, anyone else who would like to comment? Geeta has a comment. Geeta, do you want to come in, or we just read from the chat box? She says she thought the music is embedded in the narrative in a very interesting way, and the choice of rap especially, while she commends you for Manju for providing several insights in the course of your presentation. Yeah, you want to say anything about the music, or we can just, I mean, you want to respond? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Professor Geeta Vishwanath, for bringing that in. Yeah, music is one thing which makes the documentary very special. Because there is a way we approach a documentary usually, right? Like there is some usual way, like what are we going to watch? So the way usual way, like, or the usual imagination of a documentary kind of actually changes through the use of music in this. And so the music, in a sense that it kind of mixes, or it comes along at certain points. For instance, one moment which is very interesting for me is when Avadu and sorry it's when Angela Davis comes out of the prison, and then there is a song which comes and it's a kind of response, or a celebration, so that because until then it was very tight, like, so people, it is through other people's narratives we get to know that what happened and how the system kind of reacted, or how the system wanted her to be in prison, and how she fought back, and and it ends with that. So like even lyrics, as you mentioned rightly, that rap, the way lyrics is, like, for instance, there is the last song has what happened in the past, like I think it's on Reagan's era, and like something which is going to be trumped. So it is all the mix of words, and the way it kind of brings together, and also like fight back, and also gives hope that freedom is going to come. So that, in a sense, that it is through music that it's also possible. It's not necessarily only through visuals, but then the continuous and there is a constant uh, like use of music, or in a sense that it reminds of both the oppression, or the resistance, and the hope. So all these three, or in a sense that past, present, and future, all these together is brought through this use of music. So yeah, thanks for that.
Yes, Ajanta, please go ahead.
So this is just a comment, and I want to congratulate Manju. I also enjoyed the presentation very much. And, we actually kind of screened it at VIT about right at the time of the George Floyd murder. So what the immediate comparison to my mind, would be not so much Jai Bhim, but Jai Bhim Comrade. This is the Anand Patwardhan film. And he often uses similar forms, really a mastery of form already with the film on the Ayodhya movement. I'm forgetting now. Certainly with Father, Son, and Holy War. And also a lot of, some people find it a dated concept. I actually find it quite productive to go back to, the idea of third cinema, right? Which is a political cinema of a certain kind. And I wonder if we could locate Duvernay in that trajectory also. I'm also thinking of really sort of, avant-garde Black British artists like Isaac Julian or even Steve McQueen, and you're right, this is not documentary in that conventional form. And these are just things that I'm kind of, thinking along with you. There were so many really fantastic discussions that happened around then. But, I was also struck by one or two comments that you made. For instance, the release of Black Panther, And it created such a sensation because, it was seen as this emblematic moment because there are no quote unquote white characters on screen. But of course, we know that long term, that does not necessarily change, kind of translate into, in any sort of normal way, or we don't even know what this so-called radical Black aesthetic will be. So also with the Hollywood Diversity Code, it's very, very important, undoubtedly, that a new archive be built, but also that we kind of, because there are many ways in which, and of course it's already happening, the Diversity Code can be kind of bypassed or become, another route to kind of go back to an earlier story. So these are just comments, but, in general, I really enjoyed the presentation, and of course, you're in the greats of our times. So thank you for choosing the film.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for all the comments and questions. I would just try to largely talk about it. Firstly, the issue of George Floyd. I mean, for instance, like even in the film itself, you can see there were many other instances which happened before, and you can hear most of them telling, "I can't breathe," and this happened before the film came in 2016, which was before I think the Floyd incident. So
Sure, there's Michael Brown and there's Michael Brown. I think then there's another. I'm forgetting the names of these kids. Absolutely,
yeah. So it kind of pops in, like it comes as like 1, 2, 3 like shootings and different stories comes together, and I think that is something which the one of the things, maybe because of media and the use of media, made George Floyd case very sensational in that sense, because otherwise most of the other cases like it must have been huge issue perhaps in the US, but not necessarily much across the world, whereas I Can't Breathe by Floyd kind of resonated in all the like Twitter, Facebook, or all the social media. So I think that is one thing which the media did, and which also in the documentary they tell that, okay, this something in your hand, that there's a phone in your hand, if you can actually shoot what's happening and then put it out, and then everybody can watch it. So that is very interesting thing, which something that the media is also doing. And like, of course, media is in a sense that there is of course, like we know that we know the governmentality and how it is spying and all these things, but also this one perhaps positive way to look at it is also how the oppressed are using it to resist the system or resist oppression. So that is something, which is very which is something which I thought I would talk a little bit. And thanks for the suggestions on the film JB Comrade, and I think I'll look at the films in detail, because there are some of the so like I've also seen some, I mean, I don't remember, there's a Malayalam documentary, I think, on how Muslims in Kerala or I think particularly in Malabar are I think are incarcerated, and then they're left like after some years without any charges, how they like their like precious years were wasted in the prison. So that is, I think, I have seen a documentary, but I don't remember the name. So there are certain works like that, but one thing perhaps, like as I said, the Netflix production makes a big difference, because it is available for like at least those who can afford it or pay the monthly whatever subscription rate. So it is available across many countries, and that kind of is very different perhaps for this particular documentary. And in relation to third cinema and avant-garde, I was thinking like, so in the beginning, perhaps like when Black started making films, for instance, in the like there is something called UCLA films or LA Rebellion films, where a lot of blacks graduated from the UCLA campus in filmmaking, and they made different kinds of films, which were like of documentary types, avant-garde and feature film, different kinds of films they made, and most of them took inspiration from third cinema. So that is like especially films which were happening in the all these post-colonial countries, for instance, in the South American countries, and also in India. And so that is the kind of perhaps the moment, like was a starting point which they took inspiration from. But especially when it comes these days, Things are different, I
Aja.
think, and yeah, things are different. And also, yeah, in terms of avant-garde, I was thinking like these directors do not want, or perhaps Duvernay, I don't think, does not want to be confined to any particular form, or she wants to experiment with different forms available and then use it for like different purposes. Like she said that this documentary was like very long in length when it was like the first, when they edited it, but then they understood that nobody is going to come back and watch, like, because it has different aspects, like different things, like it's traumatic, there is violence, and so she wanted to put it together in 100 minutes, whereas when they see us, it's like episodes of what happens to those kids, and then how the and then when the person who committed the crime who comes and confesses, then things change. So it's like each part is on, like, also each episode is on each person also, like one is on one kid, or the other one is on another person, and then how they grow up in the prison. So it, in a sense, that it can be serialized. So and Selma is again like a popular film where she just recreated a historical moment. And so in that sense, like, I think it's more to do with, of course they would be taking, or it has elements of avant-garde cinema, but then it also does, in a sense, that influences the inclusion of music, or it kind of I think it is slightly different from what, like, or maybe the idea of third cinema or avant-garde, I would say, because it is kind of tries to move beyond these categories, perhaps I'm taking, of course, influence from it, but then to move beyond that. And the last part on the Black Panther, yeah, so I'll just talk a little bit on Black aesthetic. So yeah, Black Panther was it's one of the like very super hit films, and then it kind of generated a lot of discussions and debates, and even black women had issues on it, how they were like how black women were represented, or how blacks were represented as people who were like still believing in certain things. Or there were criticisms also from blacks, so it's not necessarily that it was one-sided, but then yeah, there were different takes on the film. But then what the film did is also very interesting. It was the 17th superhero film of Marvel. So after 16 white superheroes, it just took that many years for a black superhero to happen. So that, in that way, that film is very historical. So that is something which that film did. Like, there's a claim over technology, there's a claim over modernity, and the claim over like how the community works, like in a sense that the togetherness and also the fights within. So that way, that film brought in different aspects which we haven't seen in Hollywood films before. So that is one thing. And also, yeah, about no white character. I mean, the film also has a good, whatever, good quote unquote good white guy, and there were also a lot of discussions on that particular character, how that character is perceived, or like both ways, both appreciation and also criticism. So it was discussed in the especially in the United States from different point of view. So that is something which, yeah, so there is of course that emergence of black aesthetics, but it's need not be like only one way, or because it is also receiving different kinds of responses even from people within the community. So the way they see it or the way they perceive it is also different. So yeah, it kind of takes influence from different perhaps forms, but then it tries to bring in new elements towards emancipation. So yeah, thanks for those, like all the comments. And
Ajanta, you had unmuted. I think you wanted to say something. Go ahead, and then we can go to Sanjay.
No, that was my mistake. Thank you very much. I enjoyed it. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, Sanjay, then over to you. Sanjay had also unmuted. Okay, anyone else then? Yes, Bhagyalakshmi, go ahead.
And actually, thank you very much for a wonderful movie and a wonderful lecture. And the movie seems to focus on questioning the history of locating the blacks as prisoners in America by using a variety of voices, newspaper reports and all. It's very interesting. And the idea of the documentary as an articulation or as a way of protest by incorporating music was really interesting. And usually when we watch or when we read and all, we usually read more about the quilts, music, etc. As a kind of protest in other forms. But in this documentary, it was really very interesting. And another thing is that the idea of a movement framed by the makers focusing on the notion of humanization, it was really wonderful. And and the way you came out with the idea of, was also really good. And I just want to add that Nayatu is a Malayalam movie, which is just opposite to this Jai Bhim. Just opposite. There, these people are police. They are getting into trouble because of this, because of the problems of the Dalits. So this is what I wanted to tell.
Okay, thanks, Bhagyalakshmi. Manju, any response?
Thanks, Bhagyalakshmi. I would just, thanks for bringing in also Nayata, which is a film, a Malayalam film, which actually talks about the ordeal which Dalit police officers had to go through, and it is and how the system is treating them. So it is it's a film which actually received a lot of positive response from like so many people, but then there are also very strong criticisms by especially from the Dalit circles, because how the film is kind of in a sense reiterating the idea that so the ideas on how certain issues can be problematic, or how the lives, even there is no whatever personal lives are shown. It is all, everything is in trauma, like the whole Dalit lives are shown as all traumatic, or not necessarily with all this whatever is like life experiences, which are filled with both like in a sense that both happiness and joy. But there were a lot of criticisms from from Dalit circles, but then there were also like very positive responses, that how the film, the performances are like very interesting. Like if you look at the characters in the film, they have done a very good job. Like if you look at all the characters, so there are both ways that film has been like criticized. So I mean, as a film, like it kind of lacks in a certain sense, that there is certain kind of an affect which we can say maybe perhaps the film it is lacking. But otherwise, there are interesting aspects on techniques and performance which we can see. So thanks for bringing that, and also thanks for your comments on the idea of documentary, and also on the humanization, and thank you so much.
Anyone else? Sridhar, Tarakeshwar, Sanjay, anyone? Yes, Sanjay.
Yeah. Actually, this film was an eye-opener for me, and I really appreciate that this film was suggested for us to watch. And it actually put things in perspective, that the US which is considered as land of democracy. And today, like every country is claiming to be democratic. India says that we are the largest democracy, and then China says that no, we are the largest democracy. And US has been known for like exporting democracy to different parts of the world. So this film reminded me that even if like slavery is made illegal, then it comes back in different forms. And that is in this documentary, as it is shown, that how in the prison that Black people are first criminalized, and then they are put in the prison, and mass hysteria is created through media, that there is a terror of these people. So democracy can be in different forms, like political democracy, social democracy, as well as economic democracy. Like these three types of democracy, which is talked about by Maurice Gaudelier. So he says that democracy, where is the real democracy now? Because in this documentary we see that the social democracy is compromised. As you can see that there is a racial injustice. So in the name of ethnicity, how you are discriminating the people and criminalizing a certain community. So the social democracy is nowhere to be seen. Political democracy is like partial, then you have the voting system. So we are happy that, okay, we have democracy, but there is no economic democracy, again, because of so much of disparity. So the same thing happened with the, when slavery was abolished, then indentured laborers, the system of indentured labor came back when the workers were exploited, when they for 5 years, and then they could not leave, and they suffered because of that. Many people died, many went mad. So this film was really like a film, which shows with clear political commitment that how a community is criminalized and how the social democracy is compromised. Even if we claim today that we are a democratic country, the real democracy is still missing. That was, I think, the message of the film, and I really liked it. Thank you very much for introducing this film.
Thank you very much, Sanjay, for your response. Anything you want to say, Manju?
Yeah, thank you. I don't have any particular response, but then yeah, the whatever you have told about those aspects, actually the film brings all these things together, as in what happens with the political democracy, in a sense that, I mean, even that is like once you are incarcerated, all your rights are stripped away, so you cannot vote. So you are you do not have any say in the changing of system. And the same way, economic democracy, in the documentary, it is visible that how the economics policies are used against Blacks and Latinos. So that is also something which we can, like, actually the film tried to bring in all these aspects. Of course, like the social part or the racialization is in fact something which the documentary focuses on, but then all the other aspects are also like dealt in detail. So that is, yeah, that that is something which we can see, and thanks for bringing all this things together.
Okay, anyone else? Sridhar, Tarakeshwar, any response? Yeah, Tarakeshwar, go ahead.
Okay, if there are no other responses, just I wanted to come in. Thank you, Manju, for suggesting this film to be watched this week, and it was a very well made film, and And as you said, it is a success in terms of its effective function. So it really did affect me, at least. Even others, I think the same. So it's a very well-made film in that sense. But my slight, I am uncomfortable about the language in which we are trying to frame this film in terms of us and them, criminalization to humanization. I think it is much more than that. The issue, the complexities that are there, I think get missed out in this us and them framework. Because in the interview, some of them say that they supported certain legislation in the past, and now they know that there is a problem. Not only the Clinton and Hillary were saying it, but even some black senators do make those comments. So in that sense, it is not oppression versus resistance kind of thing. It's much more complex. As Sanjay was trying to point out, it is about the question of democracy and the place of minorities in the democracy. So in a general level. And at a particular level, it is about the so-called the oldest democracy of the world, and how the democracy came into being. And the cause of civil war itself is slavery, the issue of slavery. And even after civil war, though there is a constitutional freedom, how that constitution itself has a clause which takes away that freedom, and how successively certain legislations and policies have made a particular community as the kind of criminal community. So in that sense, it's not exactly about us and them. Yes, in a movement, we tend to freeze the identities and talk in terms of us and them, because that is the way the movement operates. But while we are trying to analyze the issues or the film, we talk about those issues. I think we need to be much more complex about such issues, because at the end, it is not about us and them. It is about the corporates and how they want to survive. Was they supported these penal colonies? Now they are trying to use the new technology. So in that sense, it has nothing to do with us and them at one point of time. So that much more complex, nuanced argument could have been brought out. Otherwise, it was a very good film, and you have analyzed it wonderfully in terms of the material that it has been used, how the material has been used, how it has been edited, the music, everything. So the analysis was good. Only the framing discourse, I think, it needs to be much more complex than criminalization to humanization and then us and them rhetoric. Thank you for the film and the analysis.
Okay. Yes, Sanjay, you were unmuted.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Besides, I was thinking about the presence of prison literature. I don't have much idea about the American prison literature. That I know in Maghrebian countries like Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, there are people who are incarcerated, and then they also produce prison literature. So through them, we come to know about their experiences. So there is a vast amount of prison literature available from those regions. But I don't know about the US, and there must be, maybe I think some of the writings of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King also. But otherwise, I don't know whether there are recent writings available which really depict the scenario, the prison now in the US.
Just to add a point, because the discussion about Naidu came in, I think the controversy surrounding Naidu is also because it fails to get into that us and them mode, because in police there is a person from that community. So it is not that so it complicates the issue. So that's why we don't know how to handle such things. Similarly, there are many of the mainstream feature films from America where you find black policemen. So how do they handle such things? And how do they react to the other colleagues who are white and who have these biases? So that's where the complexity lies. So looking at those films and their how it is represented is also something that is quite interesting in that sense.
Yeah. Manju, you want to respond?
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Tarakeshwar, and also Professor Sanjay for those questions and comments. So yeah, I would actually, thanks for bringing that the question of us and them, whatever the argument. One thing which I also didn't want to talk much in terms of that the binary, because that's what and if we come to the next film, which is When They See Us, it's largely on that, because it's about how the white community or the white people show the blacks or when they the way they perceive, or when what happens when they see them, is what that particular film talks about, and it's a drama series. But here what I try to do is, that's why I brought in the issues on, like, one is the affective part, and also the dialogue as a mode of operation in this documentary. So it is so in that sense, it is largely to open up so many issues. So it also talks about, as you have mentioned, like how some of the black senators have also told that how they supported certain issues and then how they have changed. So in a sense, I brought in diverse voices. If we close the film, when we watch the film closely, we can also see that it is also like a lot of white professors come and they talk about what happened in the history of America, and like what happened with this incarceration. So it, in a sense, it brings in so many different voices. So that in a sense, it is, the word I used, from criminalization to humanization, it's actually Duvernay's or her own coinage, because in the interview she talks, that's what she did with the film. So in a sense, that she wanted to, like, when there is an attempt to criminalize black men, so what she wanted to talk, or what she wanted to represent through the film, is about humanize. So it's a humanizing people, like that's something which it's the quality of like human. That's what she actually spoke in the documentary. So I also mentioned that. So it is, in that sense, it's not necessarily to humanize the other. It is in a sense that, there is of course there is a way to talk to the other, or there is a process to engage with the other, which is there. But also, the nuances, in a sense that the documentary has, or if we go to even the next film, we can see like how within the prison, how even blacks beat up these black kids, like the elder men, like, or people who are already incarcerated, how they actually play a role in the violence against this kid. So it's not necessarily that. It talks about a system which is largely white supremacist, and how it operates the violence on blacks. So that is where it is largely about the systemic violence on blacks and Latinos. So I think it is that way. It is, as you said, it is complex. So the next one, it is very clearly mentioned, it is When They See Us, but in this it is largely about like the history and how these system work. I mean, these systems work in a sense that in incarcerating these these communities. And of course, like in terms of democracy, the question, like even democracy is being also debated, like from a different point of view. So it is that something what is democracy? It's like the rule of majority, and what happens to the minority. So that is something which, as we have mentioned, it's also brought in very very succinctly in this film. So yeah, so that, and also about corporate. So the one of the things which, if we look at it closely, it's about, also I was talking about Netflix, the platform which they use. There is the use of certain kind of capitalist production like houses or corporates in order to do something else. So which is very interesting. Like, of course it is about money making and everything, but then like there is another level, like there is also like engagement in terms of technology, and also to talk about racial oppression. So that is also again a little like interesting point which I thought, because so it's like a corporate like Netflix, how it opens up a platform for this kind of documentary. And why? Because there is a market for that, and because there is a discourse which happens. The same thing with Nayatu. Why Nayatu is happening in Malayalam film industry now? Because there have been films on Dalit issues in like from the beginning itself, but in a very paternalistic like very there is the way which does in Malayalam cinema was different. But the recent, perhaps the emergence of people like Paranjit or Nagaraj Manjule, and the language of Malayalam cinema is also changing now. It does not talk like the way it used to do before. And you can see a lot of influence of this, especially Tamil cinema in Malayalam cinema, like the even the statements or even the small things. So that is something which is very like it can kind of changes, or there is a wider influence of these kind of filmmaking which is also like which happens with like this kind of directors, and how it impacts. So yeah, that's where I thought like I would just talk about like what is also about the market and the use of this platform. So yeah, thank you. I don't know whether I've answered this or yeah.
Anyone else? Any other comments? Okay, Sridhar? Okay. If there are no more comments, I think we've had a really productive and very engaging session on the film. Thank you very much, Manju, for for your presentation and all the patient responses to everything that people had to say. Obviously, everyone has really found it a very engaging film, to watch and also to be a part of this discussion. Thank you, Manju, and thanks to everyone for joining the discussion tonight. Bye.
Thank you, Manju.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
DFO.
Good night. Thank
And
you.
thanks everyone for engaging with the film and with me. And yeah, thanks for all the comments and suggestions. Yeah, thank you so much.
Good
Thank you.
luck. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good
Good night.
Yeah.
Right.